Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. A poll last week showed that 68% of Scots want oil revenues devolved to Scotland. Does the Prime Minister agree with 68% of Scots, or does he not?
Well, if you ask a stupid question, you get a stupid answer.
In a few weeks' time, the Prime Minister will decide whether he will close RAF Lossiemouth in addition to closing RAF Kinloss, which would lead to the biggest loss of jobs in Scotland since the Tories closed manufacturing industry in the 1980s. As a consequence, this would mean that Scotland would have fewer service personnel, fewer military bases, aircraft, vessels, army battalions, and less defence spending than all of our independent Scandinavian neighbours of comparable size. Will the Prime Minister explain why is he concentrating defence spending in the south and cutting defence spending disproportionately in Scotland?
We are going ahead with the building of the aircraft carriers which are being built in Scotland. I have to say to the honourable gentleman, if we had an independent Scotland, you wouldn't be flying planes, you'd be flying by the seat of your pants.
What an opportunity. On September the 18th of this year, we can make the choice once again to become a self-governing nation. To walk tall in the world with national self-respect and dignity like all other normal, independent nations do. Being responsible for ourselves and blaming no one else for our setbacks. What's the most exciting thing for me, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is that our independence will release and ignite a tsunami of energy, creativity and imagination as we get down to the business of building and creating our new independent nation. A new nation according to our Scottish priorities, built on our sense of community. Always securing the government that we vote for, pursuing the agenda that we want. We'll run an independent Scotland better than the Westminster Tories. Of course we'll run an independent Scotland better than the Westminster Tories for one key and very important fact. We care more about Scotland than the Westminster Tories do. Of course we do. And that is why we will run it better. And never again will we have a Tory government without our democratic consent. No more picking on our vulnerable. No more obscenities like the bedroom tax. No more of Labour's illegal wars. And no more Tory Labour weapons of mass destruction as they fight to fight for the United Kingdom with his head, heart and soul. But when it comes to a debate, it's some guts that he needs to find. We now have the blueprint for independence. We know what his United Kingdom will look like. Will he now stop being a pathetic, big party and get out and debate the issues with the First Minister?
I'm enjoying the debate we're having now. That's where the debate should take place. Of course, there should be a debate, including televised debates, but this is a debate between people in Scotland. This is not a debate between the leader of the Conservative Party or even the UK Prime Minister and the Scottish First Minister. It's a debate, rightly, between the leader of the No campaign and the leader of the Yes campaign. And they should fight it out on the facts and on the issues. And I know you want to find every sort of distraction possible, because when it comes to the economy, when it comes to jobs, when it comes to Europe, all the arguments are for staying together.
For future reference, Mr. McNeill, you shouldn't be yapping at the Prime Minister like an overexcited puppy dog. It's unseemly. You can do a lot better in England.
And it showed that 1 in 3 English people are very happy to see Scotland cut away, right? Which is a greater proportion than the 1 in 5 Scots who are in favour. Now, you see, I think that tells you something. I think that what that says is it's a bit like a couple, isn't it? And one of the couple is saying, you know, I think I might be leaving you. I think I'm going to walk out. I don't want to be with you anymore. And the other one says, fine, go on then. I can get by without you. Fine, leave, I don't care. That seems to me to be the psychological dynamic that's beginning to emerge in this strange situation.
But the weird thing is, Richard, the one that said, well, you know, I think I might be leaving you, I think it's time we called it a day. I'm just imagining this situation. Can you tell? Then also says, but also, I'm going to leave you and I'm going to take the house, the car, our dog. Oh, I'm going to take all the best bits that I like, your Queen, your money, Doctor Who. Yes, Scotland is the woman, very much, especially if you look at Salmond. I don't think he's got a pair himself. So certainly...
Isn't it very, very messy? And if Scotland does say yes to this, can you imagine the rows that are going to go on? I mean, let's just start with one point. The Bank of England. It's the Bank of England, yeah? And he wants to keep it, and he wants to keep sterling. Well, why would the Bank of England say, yeah, we'll carry on basically being your first bank of refusal, when you're a separate country? We wouldn't do that for France or Belgium. You said you can't cherry pick. If you're going to be independent and if you're going to be a foreign country, then you have to let all those. So what about the BBC? I mean, would we have to call it the EWNI, the English, Welsh and Northern Ireland Corporation?
Well, I think for me, just call it SODOFF. You know, for me, I really believe that we shouldn't be giving them the choice to be independent. We are governed by Europe. All of our rules, all of our politics are governed by Europe. Did we ever say, if you're me and you're 38, I know, unbelievable, that we... did I ever get a choice in being part of Europe? No. Have I had one in 38 years? No. And all of a sudden, Salmond asks for something, we give it to him on a plate. Now, we pay £40 billion, or they spend... £40 billion on their public services, things like schools, health centres, They bring in £27 billion from their taxes. So a little problem there that they might be able to spot is that we're actually subsidising a whole bunch of their spending. And if they are going to be independent, you crack on, Scotland, because you're going to find it a lot more expensive to live where you live. Yeah, I just find it, you know, they've got a devolved parliament already. For goodness sake, the white paper that's been laid out that people are buying into is just a long list of free childcare, 30 hours for free childcare. We're going to cut corporation tax. We're going to scrap the bedroom tax. Just a long list of wishes that aren't going to happen.
London would have liked, but he hopes it'll give him time to build up support for independence. David Cameron's got the umpire he wanted. The Electoral Commission will be keeping an eye on the whole referendum process. Alex Salmond's been told, yes, he can have 16 to 17-year-olds voting in the referendum, though London is privately not sure at all he'll get them on the register in time. Alex Salmond has also got the wording he wanted on the independence question. No mention of the UK in it. But David Cameron thinks he's won the biggest prize, knocking out the idea of a second question offering another option, devolution max, just short of independence. David Cameron thought that was Alex Salmond's wheeze, to try and make sure that even if he didn't get full independence, Scotland would have made a giant leap in that direction.
I think this is quite important, Gordon, if I could just explain, if that's all right, is that, you know, for example, there's going to be a transfer of power of setting up a mechanism for income tax. Part of income tax is going to be transferred under the Scotland Act just now. So let's not prejudge the Commission. Let's see what they bring back.
Well, let's absolutely prejudge it, because you see...
Well, we haven't seen what they've said yet. They've not gone off and done their work. I've tasked them to do a job.
If you're going to tell people in Scotland, look, we've changed, I'm doing a U-turn, I was wrong. We're going to have all these great new ideas for more devolution, so if you vote Tory in 2015, that could happen if the Conservatives win an election, but you can't really say that, can you?
Storms battering the UK have barely dented the spirits of these people. For 250 nights straight, they've been out here protesting their right to defend the United Kingdom. For these are the Protestant, Unionist, Loyalists of North Belfast, marching, they say, in defence of the Union of England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. Many have Scottish ancestors, and they do not like the Scottish National Party one bit.
Alex Salmond, to me, is a born-again Jacobite. He's still living in the 17th century.
seen all the frowns on the faces of the clowns and the downs that they take just to be free. And I've seen all the girls and their pretty frocks and curls, but they don't mean a lot to me. Run for home, run as fast as I can. Oh, running man, running for home. I've been to the places in town where the faces hang round just to stare at each other. I ballooned with them, screamed at the moon, behaved like a buffoon, but I soon discovered. Run for home, run as fast as I can. Whoa, running man, running for home. Run for home, run as fast as I can. Whoa, running man, running for home. Run for home, run as fast as I can. Whoa, running man, running for home. I've traveled the land, made mistakes out of hand, seen the places in the places misunderstand. Yes, I've traveled the world, seen the pretty boys and girls, heard the noise that destroys and commands. Run for home, run as fast as I can. Whoa, running man, running for home. Run for home, run as fast as I can.
We are going ahead with the building of the aircraft carriers which are being built in Scotland. I have to say to the honourable gentleman, if we had an independent Scotland, you wouldn't be flying planes, you'd be flying by the seat of your pants. I say to the honourable gentleman, if we had an independent Scotland, you wouldn't be flying planes, you'd be flying by the seat of your pants.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. A poll last week showed that 68% of Scots want oil revenues devolved to Scotland. Does the Prime Minister agree with 68% of Scots, or does he not?
Well, if you ask a stupid question, you get a stupid answer, I think. If you ask a stupid question, you get a stupid answer, I think.